Virgo moon sign folks, Saturn is going to transit to your fifth house.
Hello friends, thank you so much for watching my YouTube channel. Today we are going to discuss the Saturn transit effects for the Virgo moon sign. So let's see what do we have for Virgo in terms of this Saturn transit. So let me just so this is your chart. So these are your 12 houses in your astrology as per the South Indian chart, and we study transits based on the position of the moon. So I'll take the moon, which is right over here, and place it on Virgo. So notice in Virgo we have a conjunction of many planets. I've just taken Jupiter, Saturn, and Ketu, but we are going to in this video we are going to focus on Saturn. So Saturn on January 24th, 2020 will slowly move towards Capricorn. So Saturn moving to Capricorn, one good thing is Saturn is transiting to his own house, and he's pretty comfortable when he transits to his own house. That's what we have seen the results. That's how it plays out.
So the first thing, let's talk about the children. So when Saturn enters into the fifth house, so first thing he would affect in the sense there would be a delays probably in having children. If there are children, that they would be a little sluggish in their work because the one significator for Saturn is he is very slow. So when he enters into the fifth house, he tries to slow down or rather reduce the significations of the fifth house. So when you have this kind of transit, you might suddenly notice the kid was doing very good. There is a slight drop in his concentration. He is a little slow in picking up. So this is all one. This is one part of how Saturn is going to enter the fifth house.
So your fifth house matters regarding your children. It's also known as the Putra Bhava, the fifth house. Also for higher education, your luck, speculation, gambling, the money is all denoted by the strength and the events of the fifth house in your horoscope. So let's analyze the effects on these when Saturn enters into the fifth house of
The
creativity.
next one is for speculation. So speculation is sudden. So speculation, you get sudden gains and sudden losses, and that's not Saturn's natural habitat to live. So he doesn't like anything sudden. So Saturn is slow and steady. So once Saturn enters into the fifth house, he disciplines that house. So naturally, if he sees something is happening suddenly, he'll try to put some put some pressure. I would say he would put some stop to those gains. So if you're used to having quick gains and quick losses, so this is not the time because Saturn entering to your fifth house is not good for speculation. So that's a thumbs down for speculation. So if you are into that, I would suggest you take a cautious or a relook on that. The fourth house is your house of your mother, your land, your properties, and your vehicles. So any kind of wealth from these, you might see that it might get hit. So this is another significator of Saturn entering into the fifth house. So that's again a thumbs down. These are some of the things which you might have to consider and you might experience. So normally when Saturn transits into a house, you might see the effects at least a month before it. So if it's transiting on January 24th, like in this case, if you have some feelers by December end or by mid of December, you are in the grip of a Saturn transit. So what you need to do is you need to be cautious on all these which I just mentioned. Let me just recap it for you. The first is children. You would have delays in those aspects. The next is your speculation. So go slow on your speculation. Go for some very slow. Maybe you can invest in a long-term kind of a property. So that's one. The third one is wealth from your land, vehicles, your mother's and property. So that's going to be hit. So these are some of the aspects which Saturn is going to hit you on these aspects. So let's have a look at the chart as well and see and discuss more on this.
I say in all my previous videos, the first thing which Saturn is going to do, he's going to slow things down the moment he enters. So normally you'll start seeing the effects maybe if he's transiting January 24th, you will see the effects a month before the transit, or even in mid December is what the effects would have been felt. So if you feel there are drastic changes, then you are in the grip of this particular Saturn transit, and it's time you focus matters on regarding to the fifth bhava or the fifth house. So all that would be suddenly delayed. But remember, he just delays, he never denies. So just hang on and see how the transit effects affect you. So another, maybe a positive sign for generally for people with moon in their Virgo are generally used to, an orderly life or less amount of expectations, or I mean, they're not those boisterous, adventurous kind of people, who move into gambling and speculation and try to double their gain. So for those people who have that kind of a mindset, it wouldn't be much of a difference, because a Shani in fifth just exactly does that. So again, this also depends on how Saturn is generally placed in your birth chart. So if Saturn is generally placed in your birth chart, so we won't, so you can be a little relieved that the effects won't be manifold. Also, if you have a simultaneous Saturn, say if you have a Saturn Mahadasha running and also a Saturn Dasha running, only then you would feel, the major effects of this transit, and that's the time where you need to be careful. Okay, so let's discuss what other results Saturn, or rather you would expect when Saturn enters into your fifth house. So the another part of this transit is Saturn from his house where he is residing looks into three more houses. Okay, so for Virgo moon signs, Saturn looks into your seventh house. While I count the houses, I'll just count the houses from the house of the moon. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is your seventh house. 8, 9, 10, 11. This is your 11th house. 12, 1, 2. This is your second house. So look at the way it looks at your houses. So sitting in the fifth house of gains, he's looking at your seventh house, your 11th house, and your second house. So, since Saturn is in the house of business, you can just connect the dots. So, Saturn looking at your 11th house of gains. So, this is a 7, and again, Saturn looking at your second house. So, this house is also for your family and finance. So, he would hit you on your business over here, and then he almost reduces your gains from your business, your gains from your work, or your gains from whatever gains you have. He'll try to hit. He also hits the second house of family and finance. So it's kind of a pattern which always, I always say Saturn has a pattern. So when he hits the matters of your fifth house, you lose out on your business, your creativity, your theatrics, your luck. Automatically your gains come down. Automatically you have issues within your family, within your finance. So since I said like he tries to pinch or reduce the effects of the fifth house, but if you have an but how do you come out of this? I mean, what remedies, or what is a way to overcome the Saturn transit? So if you ask me, how are you going to tackle this Saturn transit is basically first thing, that you are going to be hit on these matters, so it's time to be extra cautious. So you might have to put that extra care regarding your children, especially in studies, their health, and also if something is troubling them, make sure you're more close to your children during this period. Hang on to your speculation. So it's not a time for great profits. So just hang in there. Do not go overboard in your speculative activities, or gambling, or in business. If you have a slow and steady business, make sure you're trying to. So this is not a time to expand. This is a time to conserve, because the next transit of Saturn for you is going to be very good. So this 2.5 to 3 year period, so it's time for a little introspection, time to balance out the profits and hold on to the gains, because he's hitting two houses of the gains. As I said, he's hitting a 11th house and second house. These both houses are the house of finance. So that's one thing you have to be very careful. You've got to be very careful with money during this period. That's the prime importance, or the message which Saturn is giving out by this particular transit. So Virgo moon sign is not much of concern. It's basically, as I said, if you have an orderly view or an orderly structure, which is the way you take your life, this Saturn transit wouldn't be affecting much for you. The another thing which I'd like to quickly stress upon, Jupiter is in your fourth house, and Jupiter in fourth house is also not considered a very good transit. So again, you have to be a little more careful on the events of your fourth house, because both your transits are not looking that great. Jupiter in fourth house generally causes dangers regarding the matters of the fourth house. Again, the fourth house is matters of your land, your wealth from your land. It also denotes vehicles. It also denotes your mother. It also denotes properties. So all this comes under the purview of the fourth house. Jupiter transiting is not an auspicious transit, so be careful. You might end up taking up long, tiresome journeys when Jupiter is in the fourth house, and all those unnecessary travels might be coming your way. You might not have great luck during your wealth and finance from the fourth house, because Saturn is again affecting all your gains. So all in all, it's time for you just to hold on, breathe, just check how the transit effects works out for you in the first few months, notice a pattern, and then take your decision. So this is something which you might have to focus during this particular transit. Okay, so these were the results which I'd like to discuss with you, Virgo Moon folks. So if you do like this video, please do like and subscribe for more such videos on Saturn transits and other important planetary transits. And also, I'd like to say, if you have some experience with Saturn transit into your fifth house and you would like to share it with us, please do drop in a comment and let us know, and I'll probably read the comment and respond back. Thank you so much for watching my YouTube channel, guys.